you mind if we talk about that for a second? And if you do need to shoot, honestly, just tell me. That I'm cool. Is that so I read a book by a guy called James Caan. It used to be a dragon on Dragon's Den. This was like back in the day when it was actually people
Love
watched it.
Dragon's Den.
I haven't watched it
Brilliant.
in years. I don't know who the dragons are anymore.
It's got Sarah Davies on it now as well. Local Lass. She's amazing. Like literally all us women are just like we now have a new heroine. We have a new like someone to look up to because she's awesome. So if you haven't watched it recently, you need to go and check it out just for her, if nothing else.
I will do. But what I was going to say, so it was a guy called James Caan. Anyway, I read his book on the way to Brazil years and years ago. And what he was saying is that it's when he realized the point where his time per hour was worth more than him paying someone else to do that. But just from a business point of view, for real people doing their own stuff as we are, is that just from that point of view, for me, it was when the first 6 months you're kind of setting up and you're trying to get your first customer and just make any money at all, just stay alive.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where at the end of my first full year, I didn't want to pay a tax bill. So then it was like, what money can I spend? But then actually, then when I started the next financial year, I was in a good place because I already had my customers at the start, if that makes sense. And that's why David Winter, again, great guy when I started to edit this, it's only me. I don't have a team. I don't have anything else. I do everything myself. I'm now capped on time and what I can do. And I used to spend probably half a day a week editing videos. And actually, that's quite valuable because that's in theory, bad maths, 20%, 10% of my week lost and non-profitable stuff. So actually, but I could now afford to do it. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is just because when people first set up to do their business or whatever, it's okay to not be able to afford to do stuff right away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's almost where you'd almost for the first year, just survive, just keep going. And at a certain point, you might be able to afford a virtual assistant or someone to do whatever or whatever. But it's almost when I'm always conscious that you watch loads of people talk and say, oh yeah, I outsource all this stuff. But what it means is if someone's just set up on their own, they might have 10 grand in the bank and that 10 grand disappears in 2 months, not 10 months, because, but Steve told me to outsource all my stuff to so-and-so and my marketing to whatever. And I think it's that hustle. It's that mentality that when you are a multi-gazillionaire, you'll probably keep the same mindset to just, work with people and do really well. And I like to always try and bring it back to founders, small businesses, SMEs.
Yeah, and I think just to come back to that point as well. So I do have a small team. So I've got how many people I've got on the team? That sounds like really pretentious.
Such a
I've
diva.
got an ops manager. And no, it's not. It's because it's it is what it is. So I've got an ops manager. I've got someone who does video. I've got someone who helps with my marketing. I've got a VA, and I've actually just brought on someone to help with my brandy bits.
Nice,
keeping things looking pretty.
It's good.
All
By the
those
way,
people are
very
freelance. So all those people are freelance people. So, I'm paying them when I need them. And that sounds great, but the other side of that equally is, we went into lockdown last year, and you're right. I mean, it's all about how quick can you change. I mean, I literally I was in the middle of a contract. We turned that round like in 2 days. We were delivering the same sessions like online that we'd previously been doing, face to face. It was like, so I mean, it was we had to do that really, really fast. But equally, there's that point where you sit down and think, okay, so what does the business look like for the next 12 months?
Mm-hmm.
Because 90% of my business has always been face to face. I go and travel, I train, I go all over the place, fantastic. I love that. I love seeing people face to face and running workshops and events and going into people's businesses and doing consultancy. And my business today is the other way around. It's 90% online, probably just coming back to 10% out and about. But there was a really real moment there when I had to sit down and think, okay, I'm actually responsible for an amount of money every month to pay these people. This isn't about just paying me. This is about, I've still got my same expenses. I've still got to pay for my office. I've still got to pay for this. Still got to pay for this. And I still have to pay for these people. And because of the kind of person I am, despite the fact they were freelancers, that was very definitely a pressure. And that was very definitely something that I had to decide, okay, stuff that was in the pipeline, I mean, is it going to come through? Is it not? So I think that the other thing is that it sounds like, oh yeah, great, like you get a team, but actually there's a whole other series of responsibilities there, because I think that for most people, they feel a level of responsibility for the people that they work with. In my view was a little bit like you, I doubled down. I don't look down. What am I going to do? And a lot of my pipeline didn't come through, you know, because it was in-person stuff, so on and so forth. So I had to transition. I had to find different business. I had to find different ways of working. But there was a very real thing. So I think for people out there thinking about bringing on a team, I think, you know, good for you, absolutely think about it. And there's some real pros around it. But I think there are some additional strategies and some different challenges that you're probably going to have down that route as well. So I think there's sort of challenges on both sides, aren't there?